Children, in the chapter People as Resource, today we are going to start with economic activities by men and women. You saw in the last session that Vilas sold fish and Sakal got a job in the firm. Children, similarly, other people are engaged in various activities. You know, the various activities have been classified into three main sectors, that is, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary sector includes agriculture, forestry, animal husbandry, fishing, poultry farming, mining, and quarrying. Manufacturing is included in the secondary sector. Trade, transport, communication, banking, education, health, tourism, services, etc. are included in the tertiary sector. Children, goods and services are produced by the activities in these sectors. Thus, these activities of the tertiary sector add value to the national income, and hence these activities are called economic activities. Now, economic activities have two parts: market activities and non market activities. Market activities are those activities which are performed to earn money or profit. These include production of goods and services. Even government service comes under market activities as the government officials perform to earn pay. Now, what is non-market activities? They are the activities are the production for self-consumption. These can be consumption and processing of primary product or production of fixed asset for self-consumption. You know that there is a division of labor in a family between men and women. Women generally look after domestic jobs and men work outside in the fields. For example, Sakal's mother, Sheila, cooks food and clean utensils, washes clothes, cleans the house and look after her children. Shakal's father, Bhuta, cultivates the field, sells the produce in the market and earn money and spend it on his family. But Sheila is not paid for the domestic activities performed by her. Women are not paid for their services delivered in the family. The household work done by women is not recognized in the national income. Children, you saw that Geeta, mother of Vilas, earned an income by selling fish. Thus, women, when they enter in the labor market, they are paid for their work. It may be noted that women earning like that of men is determined on the basis of education and skill. Thus, education helps an individual to make better use of economic opportunities available before him. We can say that the major determinants of the earning of any individual in the market are education and skill. A majority of women have meager education, that is, they are not much educated and they also have low skill formation. Hence, women are paid low compared to men. They have less or no job opportunity. They don't have even much legal protection for their job. Thus, we can see that employment in this women labor sector is very irregular and provides low income. In this sector, there is an absence of basic facilities like maternity leave, child care, and other social security systems. Children, however, women with high education and skill formation do not have to suffer like women with low education and skill formation. Women with high education and skill formation are paid just like men. Children, among the organized sector, women mostly prefer to go for teaching and medicine. Some women have entered administrative and other services, including jobs that need high level of scientific and technological competence. Now let us discuss about the quality of population. For any country, the quality of population depends upon the literacy rate, health of a person indicated by life expectancy, and skill formation acquired by the people. Children, note down that it is the quality of population that ultimately decides the growth rate of the country. Literate and healthy population are an asset for the country. Let us first discuss about education. Children, we saw that Sakal's education in the initial years of his life awarded him a good job and salary. So we can say that education shaped the life of Shakal, provided him with new opportunities, and was an important input for the growth of Shakal. Not only for Shakal, education contributes towards the growth of the society also. There is an increase in the national income, there is an enhancement in the cultural richness. The efficiency of governance also increases. Efforts have been made by the government to provide elementary education to all our population with a special emphasis on girls and thereby increase the literacy rate. Children's schools like Navodaya Vidyalaya have been set up in each district. Vocational streams have been opened and developed to train large number of high school students with occupations related to knowledge and skills. There was a provision of rupees 151 crore in the first plan for education, which has increased to rupees 3766.90 crore in the 11th plan. The expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP rose from 0.64% in 1951-52 to 3% in 2015-16 and has remained around 3% from past few years. The literacy rates have increased from 18% in 1951 to 74% in 2010-11. Children, it should be understood that literacy is not only a right, it is also needed if the citizens are to perform their duties and enjoy their rights properly. If you look at the literacy figure of 2011, we see that literacy among males is nearly 16.6% higher than females. Literacy is 16.1% higher in urban areas as compared to rural areas. Literacy rate varied from 94% in Kerala to 62% in Bihar. Thus, literacy shows a vast difference across different sections of the population. Children, the primary school system has expanded to over 8.41 lakh in 2015-16, but it could not be much fruitful because of the poor quality of schooling and high dropout rates. For achieving the goal of imparting elementary education to all children in the age group 16 to 14, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan is a significant initiative of the central government with the partnership of the states, the local government and the community. Along with it, bridge courses and back to school camps have been initiated to increase the enrollment in elementary education. Midday meal scheme has been implemented to encourage attendance and retention of children and improve their nutritional status also. Children, all these policies are aimed to increase the literate population of India. In the 12th plan, it has been envisaged to raise the country's gross enrollment ratio in higher education in the age group of 18 to 23 years to 25.2% by 2017-18 and to reach the target of 30% by 2020 and 21. This is broadly in line with world average. Now, what is gross enrollment ratio? It measures enrollment as percentage of a specific age group of the population. The higher education GER 18 to 23 age group in India for year 2018-19 is 26.3. The main focus of this strategy is on increasing access, quality, adoption of state-specific curriculum modification, vocationalization and networking on the use of information technology. The plan also focuses on distance education, convergence of formal, non-formal, distance and IT education institutions. In our country, over the past 50 years, there has been a significant growth in the number of university and institution of higher learning in specialized areas. This is all for today, children. In the next class, we will discuss the other asset for the country, that is health or healthy population.